Hello everybody, and welcome once again to my channel. I have returned. Hopefully we'll be getting some more gaming content and videos up soon. One of the big things I wanted to cover on my return was the announcement that Ark Survival Evolved was bumping its retail price up to $60. Now I'm going to do this very calmly because it roils me when there's a lot of poor information out there. So I want to make this video a twofold video. An informative video and an informational video. Kind of the same thing, but you'll get the gist of it as I go along. So in terms of the $60 price point, they have always been transparent that as the game got closer to retail launch, which is set for August 8th of this year, that the game would be increasing in price to a comparable retail price for all platforms, which in this case is $60. $60 is the going rate for most AAA titles. So once again, for anybody who may be not well informed, the devs of this game said that the game would come to a retail price closer to its official launch. Now, time for a little information. Ark has been in early access for 2 years. Over the course of those 2 years, the game has been set at $30 or less, depending on what sales were going on. So at any point in the course of the 2 years, if you were so interested in the game, you had the ability to purchase the game dirt cheap. And I want to clarify my words in terms of saying dirt cheap, because what Ark includes currently in its base game is comparable to a $60 AAA title. Now I'm going to go into a little bit of explanation for this, and this is going to dispel a lot of the misinformation that is out there currently floating around the internet. Most notably on the Steam forums. There's a lot of poorly informed people who don't even own the game who spout off stuff that is completely false. Okay, so Ark has been an early access title. What that means is you are paying to play and test the game as they develop it. So you are basically like what we used to call paid beta testers back in the day, where you paid a finite amount of money to have unlimited access to the game while they tested, update, and changed the game, first of all. Second of all, through the course of early access, the devs at Wildcard have added a stupendous amount of content to this game, including free modding. Now, for anybody who may not game that much, who has never been exposed to a modding community, what modding means is they open the game code to anybody willing to go in and tinker with the code, tinker with the assets to create new assets, new gameplay mechanics, and especially in the terms of Ark, new playable maps, new land masses for you to explore and play on. Now, for the $60 that the Ark retail launch will be, we need to explain to you guys what you are getting for $60 and why it's comparable to $60. First of all, what you're getting for $60 is the original base game, which includes the original launch map of the island. This includes all the core gameplay mechanics, all of over 100 dinosaurs for you to tame, ride, fight, and explore with. It includes the island map, which land's mass is huge. It's 100 square kilometers. What this game as a base game also includes is 2 more maps, the Center map and Ragnarok, both made exclusively by people in the game community. These are sponsored paid mods that are 2 to 3 times size, 2 to 3 times the size of the original island map, giving you more gameplay area, more places to explore, more unique gaming experiences and building experiences. Some of the maps also include new dinosaurs or new gameplay mechanics that the island map does not include. That is free and bundled with the $60 retail game. What you're also getting is a core mechanic changing mod called Primitive Plus, which strips away all the technology, all the modern weapons, and gives you a pure survival experience, turning the game basically into Survivor Man. For people who don't get the TV reference, it's basically roughing it on your own with no modern tools and no modern equipment, and, giving it a real survival experience. So that's what you're getting for $60. Now, for PC gamers, you're also getting access to that huge modding community, taking what your gameplay experience and just expanding it beyond the horizons for years to come, be it in terms of new maps, new content, new costumes, new dinosaurs. Anything you can think of, the modding community has been making. Now, for console players, I feel sorry for you. You're probably never going to have access to mods. Xbox X, I don't know. There's been no information in terms of whether or not Xbox X is going to have access to mods. You are getting, though, if you're an Xbox X player, cross-platform playing, meaning you will be able to play with PC players. PS4, unfortunately, probably not. I don't think you guys are getting cross-platform, and you don't get access to mods. But I want to explain something to people who play consoles who may not understand computers. Consoles, the PS4 and the Xbox One, and even to a degree the Xbox X, are 3 to 5 year old computers. They're not going to run the game at the best specs. Some consoles are locked at 30 frames per second, some at 60. You're still getting a very playable experience. I play on computer and the PS4 Pro. I can say that my gameplay experience has been very comparable across both platforms. Do I get a much better visual play experience on PC and with the mods? Yes, of course. It's not to be a tool, it is the superior platform. That being said, the average player, be it console or PC, gets about 300 hours of gameplay out of ARK. Meaning, for the longest time, people were paying $30 for 300 hours of gameplay. A lot of people don't get that out of AAA titles, and these days AAA titles are launching buggy, incomplete, and poorly designed. ARK, on the other hand, developed by an independent studio, and I'm not paid by them, let's make this clear, by an independent studio, has offered more content, more patches, and more gameplay experience for a $30 title than $60 AAA titles. So to complain that the game is now $60, when you sat and had 2 years to go out and get the game for $30 or less, is your own fault. I need to say this again. It's your own fault. Now, the game will go on sale after launch. There's no denying that that's going to happen at some point. Now, the other thing that we need to cover here, and this is the one thing that had roiled a lot of people. It was something unique that the Studio Wildcard had done. I'm not going to even speculate on the reasons why they did it. I'm going to go over the facts about the Scorched Earth DLC. From day one, Scorched Earth DLC was not a required purchase to play the base game. There was nothing in Scorched Earth that you could not do in the base game. Secondly, because Studio Wildcard seemed to acknowledge that, yeah, it's kind of crappy paying $20 for a map. I want to say that again. Paying $20 for a map. They made the dinosaurs and a lot of the gameplay mechanics available to modders to put into mods and maps. So literally, the day after Scorched Earth came out, I could personally load a mod onto my server and use all of the content in Scorched Earth for, guess what? Free. Now, console players, again, you don't have that option. However, the Ragnarok mod map has this content. Most maps going forward that will probably be implemented in the game will also include this for the cost of the game. So, there's a caveat here. Are you going to complain about them offering paid DLC in an early access title, that's your choice. Did it royal me much? No. After playing for years in free-to-play titles that nickeled and dimed me, a prime example of that is how Trion Games handled the game ArcheAge, where in the alpha experience, the game was not pay to win. The game was not horribly balanced towards people who had a bigger wallet. And then when the game launched, Trion Games introduced all these cash shop items that made the game pay to win. You're not getting that in Ark Survival Evolved. There is no cash shop. There is no requirement for you to purchase things to have a better gameplay experience than anybody else. Now, the other facts that I need to go over with everybody. First and foremost, game optimization. Games are not developed with optimization as priority on day one. It's a rarity that happens. That being said, Ark is developed to run on the Unreal 4 engine, which is a modern game engine. If you are playing on a substandard computer or console, your game experience will not be perfect. It will not be 100% smooth. However, from what my experience has been on consoles, it is still a very playable experience. You're not going to get a wow 4K 60 frames per second on epic graphic settings experience, no. But what you are going to get is a very stable, playable experience. That is a blast to play with friends. If you're the type of person that has a little group of friends that you like to play with, Ark is an amazing experience with a group of friends. It's even an amazing experience solo because the community of Ark is such a great group of people. They love playing with other people. They love helping new people out. If that's the type of game experience you want, Ark is the type of game for you, regardless of technical aspects. Now, the one caveat, and this is the one thing that has bothered me from day one, it is something that I have been vocal about on player forums, on the Steam forums, I've readily come out and complained about myself, is the Ark official servers. Ark official servers are poorly managed. They are poorly run, they are poorly moderated, and due to an array of technical issues, sometimes they're down for 2 or 3 days at a shot. This is something that I'm hoping to God by launch they remediate, because it's a problem. It reflects very poorly on Wildcard when they foisted their official servers onto players in the state that they're in. That being said, you can still have a very fairly enjoyable player experience if you don't play on PvP servers. The player versus environment game is a hell of a lot more fun. Part of that is because the servers themselves have not been wiped in over a year. So what you're dealing with are what we call alpha tribes, who have maxed out game content, who have access to the top tier weapons, and they also exploit the cross-server functionality, which I'll go into in a minute. So my advice to you, especially to new PC players or PC players that are contemplating buying the game, I really encourage you to seek out private servers. Because on private servers, you have a much better play experience, you have access to mods, you have access to different maps, you have access to, in my eyes, being a server manager myself, a much more enjoyable experience. Many of these servers are geared towards people that don't have a lot of time to play. The base game and its core mechanics are a grind. They are time consuming. If you're somebody who only has, 4 or 5 hours a week to play, official servers are not where you should be playing. I'm going to be very blunt with you. If you don't have a lot of gaming time, I'm a person that works a 40-hour full-time job, I don't like playing on official servers, simply for the fact that my time is valuable. I want to have a fun experience, but I also have a life outside of gaming. Private servers are the way to go, until they remediate official servers. And my other issue with official servers, at least from what has been communicated from Studio Wildcard, is there are no plans to wipe progression on the official servers at launch, which means for new players, you will be dealing with those alpha tribes from day one. I'm hoping to God this changes, and I will make a follow-up video if that happens. Now, The other good thing that has caused a lot of controversy in the community, but I think has been an amazing thing to add to the game, was the cross-server functionality. Now, what that means is you can have a server with 3 or 4 maps on it and travel freely between those maps. The only issue with that is Wildcard made it where you can also bring all of your dinosaurs and all of your resources with you. Now, again, on official servers that are player versus player, this has been a nightmare. On unofficial servers where, you know, you can tinker level settings, you can turn that functionality off, you're going to get a better playing experience. Do I think that the cross-server functionality needs to be addressed and changed? Absolutely. Do I think it's something that's game-breaking and would make me not play? No. Otherwise, I would not be playing anymore. I would not have my own server. So again, just to do a little recap. For a $60 price point, you are getting the base game with 3 maps and a core game mechanic changer. On PC, you are getting access to an unlimited pool of mods and maps made exclusively by the player community. On console, you will not be getting this, probably. However, on console, you are also getting the base game, 3 playable maps, and there's future content coming. So if you buy the Season Pass, which they're all going to be offering, you're going to get 2 more DLCs. There's more in the pipelines. They're not going to abandon this game. There is a roadmap for this game for development, continued development, and they love their community. They respect and address their community and their community's concerns more so than I've seen a lot of AAA titles. So, in the end, at $60, what you consider an enjoyable experience is your own. What you consider to be an acceptable amount of content is your own. But I am going to tell you, as somebody who has played this game since early access alpha, there is $60 in this game worth of content. In my eyes, there's probably $100 worth of content in this game. I have been gaming for over 20 years. I have played some of the most high-profile AAA titles and some of the most barely recognizable, barely publicized indie titles that you'll ever hear of, and have gotten experiences comparable between both, that have made a $30 game title worth a hell of a lot more than a $60 game title. So again, it's your choice. How you choose to spend your money is your choice, nobody else's. But do it informedly. Don't play into rhetoric, don't play into misinformation. And if you have any questions at all about the game, about the DLC, about any mod that you're playing that I can help you with, please feel free to contact me in the comments below, to contact me on Twitter at Cylon8, to contact me on Twitch at ArcLivesMatter. I'm here to help you. The gaming community is here to help you. Thanks, guys.